Hello, welcome to another episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I'm your host, Eric Smith. Excuse me. Today, talking about another book published by Sam Hain Publishing, Exponential by Adam Cesare. Now, at the time of this recording, this book is 2 days old. Just came out. I was lucky to get a copy early, so I've already read it, and it is fantastic. Now I know I've reviewed a lot of pardon me, Sam Hain books recently, and I just want to say not all of them are winners. Before I read this, I had started another one. Not going to say what it is. If you really want to know, you can ask me in the comments down below, I suppose. I'll tell you. But started another book. Just couldn't get into it. Was not a fan of the writing. So, I didn't finish it. I used to finish any book I started. Forced myself to read through it. But I decided there's way too many good books to read. So now if I start reading something and don't like it, I'm done. So anyway, not every single Sam Hain book is a winner, but so far, every Adam Cesare book I've read has been a winner. And pardon me, this weather's getting to me. So before I get into exactly what this is about, I think this Adam guy is getting into my head and looking at my wish list for stories to read. He's really, to me, he's redefining subgenres for a new age, perhaps. His book Video Night is just a great B-movie horror. And then The Summer Job, which I reviewed before, to me is a great new take on old 70s Euro horror. And especially for me, 70s made-for-TV horror movies. And now, with this one, to me it's his take, his modernization of classic, like 50s sci-fi horror. One very specific movie in particular. I'm not going to mention what it is, even though the author has. I've seen a few things since I finished the book, and he straight up said, yeah, this is one of the inspirations. But I'm going to leave that as a surprise for anyone who reads this. So let's get into what this is. And again, bare bones. There's a dude named Sam Taylor who's a janitor at a lab, and he decides he's going to rescue a little mouse and name it Felix. And this is one of the lab mice. I almost said rats, but they're two different things. It's one of the mice they're using in the lab. He decides to rescue it, take it home, keep it as a pet. And I think we all know that's a bad idea. Quit rescuing lab animals. That's how apes take over the world. And of course it is a bad idea. And the cute little mouse soon becomes a gigantic threat, because Exponential is a giant monster horror story. We're not talking Godzilla sized, but we're talking giant monster, which I love. I loves me some giant monster. So the Sam Taylor dude takes this mouse home. Things do not work out well. And we meet our main characters, Kate and Ken, a couple of drug addicts / drug dealers. Excuse me. she's more of just the driver. He's more the drug dealer. But they both partake of the meth. We got Vicky, who's a gambler and a hunter and a loner. And then Nez, who is a former tribal police officer. Works as a telemarketer at this point. But they all end up at Rose's Tavern, I believe is the name of the place. I know it's Rose's. They all end up there for various reasons and are trapped by the monster and have to survive and figure a way out. So that's the basics of it. And as usual, Adam Cesare does a fantastic job. The characters are great. We get a lot of backstory with the characters. We learn a lot about what makes them tick, except for Ken. Ken kind of gets the short stick on that. Not a lot about who he is, aside from exactly who he is in this story. Everybody else, the main characters anyway, we get a lot of what made them who they are at this point in the story. Ken's just sort of, this is him. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Excuse me. I'm just saying, he doesn't get the backstory like the rest of them. All very good characters. Very well written characters, I should say, as always. Well written characters aren't necessarily good characters. Well, these, for the most part, they are. These four, anyway. I was a little annoyed with Vicky. Kind of had a grating personality. But a well-written character. An entertaining character. And she grew on me a little before the end. But you know what? I'm just going to tell you. The Blob. It's a modern take on the Blob. But it's more than the Blob. There's a lot more going on. But yeah, when I thought it was just going to be a mouse that started growing bigger, but no, it turns into the freaking Blob, which is one of my favorite movies from back in the day. I don't know how many times I've seen the original on Superhost on Saturday afternoons. Absolutely love that flick. And of course the remake, which is possibly the first place I ever saw Shawnee Smith. The remake is fantastic as well. So definitely, it's not a rip-off. It's the creature in here is different than just the plain old Blob. It's really fascinating what Cesare does with his creature. Again, it's bad enough I already said, I gave away that it's an homage to the Blob. So I don't want to say exactly what the creature does, exactly what it is, how it works, what it... Excuse me. Exactly, I don't want to say too much about anything about the creature, but it's really, really cool. And it's named Felix. Poor Felix the monster. He just wants to be loved. No, that's not the case at all. But it's a real quick story. It's just over 200 pages. So it's nice and fast. It's got a good steady pace. You know, it builds rather quickly to the big, everybody's trapped in Rose's Tavern, trying to figure out how to survive and get away. Pardon me, sorry, I just... a lot of stuff going on in the old throat. Pardon me. Gotta get that Mountain Dew, try and clear things up here. That's good stuff. When are they going to start sponsoring me? It didn't help as much as I had hoped. Okay, that's enough of that. So as I was saying, well-paced, great characters, great monster. I'm really looking forward to whatever he's doing next, the author. Seeing what subgenre he may tackle next. So I said, so far, everything's sort of been a new take, almost a love letter to these subgenres of horror. And his books are very visually stimulating. I don't know if that's the proper way to put it, but I can picture, of the three that I've read, I could picture each one perfectly as a movie. And I know that one of his other books, excuse me, Tribesman, is an homage to the old cannibal subgenre of films, Cannibal Holocaust and Cannibal Pharaoh, I believe. Of course, Eli Roth has homage to that coming out, and I cannot think. Green Inferno? Is that the name of it? Anyway, it's a whole very popular subgenre in the horror world, the cannibal movie, and so Adam Cesare's early work, Tribesman, is an homage to that. And then I already mentioned Video Night and The Summer Job, and now this. So he's sort of going through a lot of the things, a lot of the subgenres that I love, and putting this new modern spin on them, and doing a fantastic job of it. He's 3 for 3 so far with me. I have not read Tribesman yet. I will have to pick that up soon. Just doing a fantastic job of it. An up-and-comer who's taken the horror world by storm, in my opinion. I was very happy to get an early copy of this and have a chance to read it. I actually finished it, I think the day it came out. Actually hit bookshelves, as it were. And so I definitely wanted to get this review up and maybe boost sales. Because I want Adam to keep writing. It's selfish. I'm a selfish guy. I say that I do these reviews to help promote the things that I like, and which is true, but part of that is selfish, because if I can promote the authors and the books that I like, then hopefully the authors can support themselves through their writing, which means they write more, which means I get to read more of their work. And that's really what it comes down to. I just want more. And this is a great example of why I want more. It's fun. It's definitely entertaining. It is fun. I can imagine being at the drive-in, watching this as a movie. You're just having a good time. For you kids out there, a drive-in is a place that we used to go to where you'd sit in your car and watch a movie, and you're sort of outside, but you're in your car. And back in my day, they had these big, heavy metal speakers that you had to put on your car window. None of this fancy tuning your radio to a specific station. Although you didn't have to sit in your car. A lot of times a bunch of us would go and put blankets out between the two cars and just kind of have a picnic, sitting there watching movies. Yes, I'm showing my age. Everybody should experience the drive-in. It was fantastic. And Adam Cesare, he's kind of a drive-in author. And I mean that in the best possible way. It's just giant monsters. I love it. and it's very clever how he does it. Again, I don't want to tell you how the monster works, as it were, because you got to read it and find out for yourself. Pardon me, I'm all phlegmy, and it's this crazy weather. It's 65 degrees one day and 25 degrees the next day. But that's neither here nor there. Just remember, Exponential, Adam Cesare. I will have a link for the book in the description down below, as always. It's brand new. Get yourself a copy with that brand new book smell. If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, please put them in the comments down below. If you really want to know what Sam Hain book it was that I couldn't even finish, you can ask me about it in the comments down below, and maybe I'll share that with you. I'm trying to promote the stuff that I like, and I don't like to put down authors or the books, because opinions vary. Something that I don't like very well could be something that everybody else loves. And since I'm not being paid for this is just something I do. I don't have to review it. I don't have to tell you what it is and why I don't like it. But I will if you're really curious. But Sam Hain, still one of my favorite publishers. Even though they have some things that I'm not a fan of. They just have some authors I'm not a fan of. That's just the way it is. So if you really must know, ask about that in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. I think that covers everything this time. So that's it for this episode of the Low Budget Review Show. Show my wonderful graphics. I wish I had some sort of slime that I could have played with. I would have done an episode of Low Budget Review Show Theater. But I just don't. Surprisingly, amongst all these things, I do not have any slime. Just pick it up. Great characters. Great monster. Great story. It's a quick read. A lot of that is because it is so compelling. It really, again, one of those that's just a page turner. Didn't want to put it down. Just wanted to keep on reading, find out what was going to happen. Because I like Monster Mayhem, and I cared about the characters. I wanted to know what was going to happen to them. So that's it for this time. I think I covered everything. So until next time, read more books.